Story Species Story Medicine, extra strength. Ready to take your medicine with Gina Virginia Casella?
Species of medicine, overbilitas, extra strength is everything you'd ever ask. Many with the soil, many with the sea. Earth is a medicine for you and for me. Scrubbing out the tarnish, building up the trust. Honest little tales, rising from the rust. Truth is in the living, truth is in the skin. Open up the portal, let the healing in. Extra strength, extra soul. Medicine to make us whole. Feel the rhythm, feel the pace. In every single space. Are you ready for the cure? Keep it steady, keep it pure. Extra strength.
Hey, Dragon Dreamers, Gina Virginia Casella here, and thank you so much for tuning in today to Story Species, Story Medicine. Last Saturday, we had a dragon-tastic time at our Summer Daze conference, and with me today, I've got one of my good friends, Slavka Terakova, who was one of our dragon speakers. You might know her as Slavka, the Natural Sentient. She's got her own podcast, and there's so much to say about Slavka. You know, she's just like us. She knows exactly what it's like to have interesting dreams and interesting experiences. And I'm always telling everybody that we are a story species. One of the best ways to heal is with the earth. And that's exactly what we do with each other right here on Story Species, Story Medicine. When you share a story, you share medicine. I don't know if you realize that or not. And when you receive a story, you're receiving medicine. Now, whether that medicine applies to you or not, just like any tool, it's something that you can tuck into your back pocket and you can alchemize it to make it your own. Maybe in the future, you'll have a conversation with somebody and they might require that very story medicine that you picked up, just like any other tool in your back pocket, and then you can share it with them. So how you think and feel is so important that it actually inspires ailments or it can cause healing. That's how powerful we are, whether we mean to be that powerful or not. That's how powerful we are. And something that I really appreciated about Slavka's presentation on Saturday was it was all about the things that I'm passionate about, like rules of the mind. So we'll get into that with her. But just before I bring her to the stage, let me show you her picture here. And let me just read over a quick biography. So Slavka, the Natural Sentient, is an alchemist, mystic earth keeper, nature lover. She offers intuitive oracle readings, soul empowerment, emotional healing, guidance. And as I mentioned, she also hosts her own podcast, The Natural Sentient. So find Slavka on YouTube. I've got her link there in the comments. Show her some loving. Subscribe to her YouTube. She shares the unique experiences and perspectives from her wonderful human journey, aiming for raising the awareness and expansion of human consciousness. She was also a dragon speaker at the Summer Daze Conference 2026. I want to show you some more pictures of her. There is Slavka, bottom center, Slavka, the Natural Sentient. The presentation that Slavka did was all about the self, like I said, and the self-love, the wisdom that we learn from the wombs. And she spoke about her own personal healing journey, the programming that she didn't realize she was caught up in. She spoke about her mother and her father, scarcity mindset, but it was mostly her mother's programming that she inherited and basically followed suit. And it was really powerful, the presentation. I asked all the presenters to leave us with a special message. And Slavka left us with this message here. It's a bit small on my screen. You're both the masterpiece and the work of our in process. Trust the journey, trust the process. And that came up a lot, trusting in the process. So let me bring Slavka to the stage here. Hi, Slavka. How are you doing today? Good to see you. Oh, can you hear me okay? Just before we went live, my headset, I was going to use that and I had to switch it. Hi, Slavka, can you hear me? Well, we can see you, but we can't hear you. Oh, there we go. I heard something.
Okay. Hi, Gina, everyone. Thank you for having me. Thank you for such a beautiful introduction.
Yes, thank you. And thank you for a phenomenal presentation last Saturday at the Summer Daze conference. You totally rocked it. And after the conference on Sunday, Slavka wasn't able to join us, but Sheila Spiral Sister Murray and Michael Kopf and I, we were reflecting on it all. And at some point, Julia Ankerhaven was able to join us. So really enjoyed your presentation about self-love, self-care, the reality about the subconscious programming that we have, even if we don't mean to have it, and you yourself really shining your light and being vulnerable, talking about your mother and father and the safety mindset that they had, this business of being a people pleaser, having to be perfect, and finding yourself in survival mode. And ultimately, you learn the hard way, like me and a lot of other dragons listening. Our number one problem is usually ourselves, right? We stand in our own way, and for lots of reasons, mostly because of this scarcity mindset and programming that we get stuck in. So I always have lots to say, but those of you who didn't catch the conference, you can purchase the replay for only $10. Phenomenal Dragon Delightful deal. And also on Saturday, when we were chatting in the comments and whatnot, people were commenting about the pace and flow of your presentation, Slavka. And I thought that was really great because behind the scenes, Slavka and I met. I was the assistant. Slavka was talking. I was taking notes and helping to organize information. And we talked about, like, you know, when you're talking, slow down, do that thing called breathing, something I often forget to do. I speed talk, information comes fast. But then when it came time for you to present, you had a nice slow pace. You paused, you breathed, and it made for an impactful presentation. And so it was a testament to the combination of the content crossed with the actual delivery, and then the demeanor of the presenter in itself made for a spectacular presentation. So those people who didn't get a chance to tune in on Saturday, what are some takeaways from your presentation that you want to share? Can you hear me okay, Slavka? If Slavka's on her cell phone, there's going to be like a good 1 minute delay. That's how it is on mine. So I think there's a bit of a delay, but while Slavka is getting to us, I will show you the little video from the conference, not from the conference, but from the after conference. We were hanging out. So let me just show you this here. This is about Slavka. Oh. Okay. We lost her. I was just going to say, maybe I'll remove Slavka from the stage and bring her back, but I think that we lost her. That's okay. Hi, Slavka. I see you there. Let's try and bringing her back up. I've still got that YouTube video and whatnot that I can show. How are you doing, Slavka? Can you hear me okay? All right, let me move forward with that video that I want to show you. I'll show you my Buy Me a Coffee where you can purchase the replay, and I'll show you the video of us chatting about Slavka. So let me put it on screen share here. All right, just add that to the stage. Okay, there we go. So this is my Buy Me a Coffee, and as you can see, I post on here almost every day. If you go to post, you'll see that I post on there every day. Here's today's show with Slavka, the Natural Sentient. There's lots of hype about the conference that we just had. This is the link for today's show, but I also put in here this YouTube link, which we can watch right now. So, Slavka, the Natural Sentient, her video was learning self-love through the wisdom of wounds, trauma release, emotional healing, soul shrinking, self-sabotage, and the healing power of self-love. Her presentation was hands down phenomenal. She talked about things I personally am passionate about, rules of the mind, feeling stagnant and whatnot. But I have to say, like, content aside, Slavka had a very nice pace. We talked behind the scenes about slowing it down, breathing, but then she actually took in those tips and tricks and applied them. And I felt like a hypocrite because I speed talk, right? But Julia and I had a conversation, Anchor Haven and I had a conversation a while ago now about how, like, for me personally, when I speed talk, it's a sign of my intelligence. Information is coming hard and fast. But I recognize that I need to stop and pause and breathe if I want to be effective. And my own effectiveness and quality gets lost in my own speediness, you know? So I felt really happy for Slavka because of her content, but also because the actual delivery. And I felt like there was a few times she almost got emotional, which would have been fine. But I felt like she had to, like, own the present moment here and there and really, like, step into it and assert to herself that she was going to get through this presentation. And to me, that was very powerful because it reminded me of Julia, like, just needed to really buckle down and shine your light and speak your truth. And she did, you know, all the presenters did, but Slavka, Missy, and Julia have a lot less experience than Soma and Sheila, you know, being in front of people and what. Hi, Slavka. How's the technology going? Can you hear me okay? You know, on Saturday when we did our conference, we didn't have any tech issues, but last time Slavka was on my show, we did have tech issues. So this just makes me feel like, you know, we're on the right track. So on my YouTube, there's tons of information that people out there can find if you're interested about the conference, about the presenters, and oh, can you hear me now, Slavka?
Yeah, I'm very sorry for these issues.
That's okay. It is not your fault. You know, I'm just glad on Saturday you were able to present because we had backup videos in case. But that's okay. I know it's not you, it's the technology. And you're like me, we're hard on ourselves when we don't need to be. See, we get in our own way, right? We get in our own way. So now that the conference is over, you can breathe a little easier, right? It was really inspiring to watch you go through the motions, because I know it wasn't easy. You know, putting your presentation together, it's almost triggering in itself, and it forces you to face shadows that maybe you didn't fully face before. And so tell us about when you were putting the presentation together. What was that like emotionally for you?
Thank you for asking, and thank you for allowing me to participate as a dragon speaker in your conference. I really appreciate that. As I was and I am first time speaker. Yeah, it was a healing for me to put it all together, and my aim was to share honestly and to maybe to inspire others to 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 inspire them in the way, so they also start to their inner work. They start to question why they feel the way they feel and stuff like that, what's going on in their own lives, because there is a life goes very fast, time. So yeah.
The screen froze, Slavka. I heard you were saying time moves very fast and then you froze. Can you repeat that last bit? Oh, you froze and unfroze again. It's like, we're going to have to start playing some kind of game where when it freezes, we get points or something like that, I don't know. For what it's worth, though, on Saturday when we had our conference, we didn't have any tech issues. And last time Slavka and I got together for Story Species, Story Medicine, the internet would not let Slavka have a turn. And so, okay, I don't know, Slavka, how's the internet now? Okay.
I don't know what is going on.
Yeah, I don't know either. I feel inspired,
Really?
Somebody's trying to get in our way, it's fine, get in our way. Slavka and
I think
anyway,
so.
right? So not going to let technology hiccups bother us. Technology hiccups last Saturday would have bothered me, but not today. So, Slavka, you're very inspiring, and you were shining your light on Saturday at the Summer Daze conference. Being honest, being authentic, being open, inspiring others to take charge of their life, so they're not running in the same cycle over and over again, kind of like in a rat wheel. You talked about a wheel where you just constantly go in a circle, following the same pattern, following the same loops. And really, a lot of us don't even know we're stuck in a pattern until we start questioning and challenging. And something important that you brought up in your presentation was childhood, because in childhood, that's when most of our blueprinting takes place. And in childhood, we're taught not to ask questions, not to challenge. And when we go to our parents for little insignificant things, we often get shut down, typically because parents are tired and stressed out because they're in survival mode. But what ends up happening is the child gets a message, whether it was directly or indirectly intended. The communication the child receives is, you're not important, you don't matter, Whatever you have to talk about isn't important. And then it's like, how do we expect children to have confidence? How do we expect children to be critical, independent thinkers? How can we possibly expect a child to come to you when there's a big deal that's going on, when they can't even go to their parents for a small, insignificant deal, and through the eyes of a child, everything is a big deal. The ant crawling across the wall, that's a big deal to a child, right? So you talked about that, just the perspective, and so it was very relatable to listen to you speak. So when you were putting the presentation together, it was a lot of hell. But when you presented, I got the feeling that you were getting emotional. Like there were times where maybe you were going to start crying. And if you started crying, that would have been okay. It happens. But I felt like in those moments you were really pushing through, like, I'm going to get through this darn presentation, Even if I start crying, I'm going to speak my truth and say what I have to say. And you did. And when it was over and it was time to take Q&As, it was like, like there was just this relief. And this is a testament to the power of sharing stories, because the people who received the story medicine from you, Slavka, they got their dose of medicine, but you also got a dose of medicine because others were witness and creating a safe space. So now that it's been a few days and the presentation's over, how do you feel?
I feel good. I did my best. Obviously, I could do a little bit better, but I feel that.
Yeah, like there's always room for improvement, right? And now that you have this presentation under your belt, you could make it longer, you can make it shorter, you can keep it as is and present at another conference, right? So just going through the process in itself and the motions, what do you say to people who might be considering being a dragon speaker at a future conference? What words of wisdom do you have for those people who might be hesitant?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah. I think there might be a little minute delay, so just let me know to repeat things. So my question is, if somebody out there listening is interested in being a dragon speaker like you, but maybe they're shy or they're not sure for whatever reasons, maybe they don't think their story's important. Maybe they're worried about working with me. What words do you have for them? What advice would you give to somebody who would like to present?
I say go ahead, because we tend to wait for the right moment to speak out, and we feel like we are never ready. But I say yes, it's the perfect time. It's not that easy, but I know that everyone so yeah, I just say don't be shy. I mean, you can inspire someone else, and everyone has a powerful story to share. That's it.
Yes, thank you for that. The thing about the Dragon Dream Soul Tribe Collective is we're a soul tribe. So it doesn't matter if you've had an ET experience or if you saw Bigfoot, we get you. We're all in the same bubble, if you will, in terms of our experiences and ways of knowing. And there's a lot of us who believe that we're connected through past lives, alternate realities, through dreams, half remembered, half misunderstood. And so I have a belief that the people who present at my conference, who help out with the monitoring, and the very dragon dreamers who attend the conferences and even this show are somehow all connected. And this is all part of Project 30 and everybody coming together now. So I was wondering, do you feel like there's some kind of synchronicity between the presenters and the people coming and that we're meant to get to know each other? And why would that be? Why do you think we're supposed to unite?
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Slavka. Can you hear me okay? Okay.
Yeah. This is you see
I know. I know
how it is. I'm very sorry for that.
Oh,
But
it's not your fault.
I can't explain what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was a really great medicine.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for that. And, not everybody has a strong academic background. There might be some people thinking, well, I've never put together a presentation before, or, oh, well, maybe my English isn't the best. Like, step into it, share your story medicine. It's one thing to, talk about it on the phone with somebody, but when you publicly go to a conference and shine your light in a formal setting, like a conference I provided with Summer Daze, that to me really sets a tone, and the coherence, your own voice that you hear resonating in and around you, being like an authority, to me is really powerful. And it's actually hard for me to find speakers. And I feel like as time goes by, I'm going to have a positive problem where too many people are going to want to be speakers, right? And so reach out if you're interested in speaking, because I don't just want people I want everybody, people who have science backgrounds, people who don't have science backgrounds. It's important there's a mix. Yeah. So, Slavka,
Well,
you're going. Oh, go ahead.
I just want to say thank you for your kind help with preparing my presentation.
Oh, and
It really helped me. That your assistance with the presentation, it was very helpful. So thank you very much, Gina.
You're welcome. It was fun to do that, because Slavka, she had all of these ideas, too many ideas, right? And I was like, okay, Slavka, you only have 35 minutes. And Slavka and a few other presenters, they wanted more time because, they wanted to do a really good job and a really well-rounded, presentation. But really, you only need 20 minutes, half an hour at the most, because you really can't do a deep dive at a conference, not unless you do a workshop in the afternoon to complement it or something like that. And so it was really challenging just doing it in 35 minutes, right? And I had a laugh with Slavka because Slavka wanted to engage the chat. And behind the scenes, I'm like, no, Slavka, you don't have time to engage the chat, right? So we just came up with this thing where it was like, put a 1 in the chat if you think and feel this. Put a 2 in the chat if you think and feel that. And I think that's a really great way to engage the audience without taking away from your focus, and then at glance, you see a bunch of 1s, you see a bunch of 2s. So did you like doing that? Put a 1 in the chat, put a 2 in the chat. Do you think you would do that again?
Yeah. We just tried. I tried, and thank you for the inspiration.
Yeah, you're
because those 35 minutes passed fast. So yeah.
Yeah, the whole day passed by fast, right? Like it was a 10-hour day. So I had like snacks and water and whatnot all put to the side, ready to munch on. And I remember at one point thinking, oh my gosh, we still have like 4 or 5 hours, like we haven't even gotten to that halfway point yet. And then all of a sudden it was over. And I remember when we got to Soma's presentation, I remember thinking, Slavka's next, and then it's basically Missy and we're done. Like, how did this day fly by, right? But that's what happens when you're engaged, when you're with Soul Tribe, when people have the desire to be there, right? And so it really meant a lot to me for our community to be a little bit closer. So,
Yeah.
So
It was
yeah,
amazing.
It was really amazing. And behind the scenes, there was a gemstone reading that I provided to the presenters in exchange. And that was really fun too, doing those and getting to know the presenters. Some of the presenters couldn't make it for the gemstone reading, so I had to send them like a video gemstone reading. But you were able to get a gemstone reading, and that was nice to do it in person with me. And we didn't have tech issues either, so that was really good. There's so much to say. What was it like working with me? Like, how did you like, because you know what, like, I don't like using the word strict, but I had a strict protocol, right? Like presenters had to submit things on time because I needed to advertise behind the scenes, and I also had to prepare, and so how was that process, meeting due dates? And I think Slavka is frozen on us again. So I don't know if Slavka can still hear me, but rigorous is maybe a better word to use. There were rigorous deadlines behind the scenes. Like the presenters had to submit to me their description, what their title of the presentation was going to be called. And then at a different date, they had to submit the actual presentation, the pre-recorded presentation. Did you find that process stressful, Slavka?
A bit.
And I bet it was stressful because just going through the motions of putting your presentation together was stressful, right?
A bit, yes. But at the end, you gave us enough time.
Because in my mind, it was plenty of time by the time the presentation came through. Ideally, I like to have a pretend due date. Everything is due the week before because my brain needs time and space just to do its thing, right? And like the tech rehearsal that we had, I couldn't imagine the conference being like that day. I was glad that I had that week, to sort it out. So yeah, it was really powerful. Your presentation, you talked about journaling and meditation. Can you tell us a little bit what journaling and meditation looks like and sounds like to you? I know people at the conference got the information, but what about those who weren't able to attend?
For me, it's time when I'm just with myself, when I find time to sit and just be in stillness. That's about. And also the time. Yeah.
You know what, Slavka? You cut out. I heard
Yeah.
that you sit in stillness, and then I heard yep. I don't know if you said anything else because you froze.
So yeah, can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. Oh, and thank
So
you for
yeah,
your patience, Slavka. I don't know if I'm freezing on your end. Am I freezing on your end? You keep freezing on my end. And then it's like when I'm talking, Slavka's unfreezing. So you know what? To me, like I'm gonna say it just for the sake of saying it. Somebody out there is messing with us right now because I'm recognizing a pattern. When Slavka freezes, I start talking and then Slavka unfreezes. But it's like somebody's literally intentionally sitting there, like kind of making a game out of it, is what I'm thinking right now. So I'm not going to let that frustrate me. You know, people talk about targeting a lot. I'm starting to see targeting as a serious problem that has to do with jealousy. People are jealous, you know, folks like Slavka and I getting together to celebrate story medicine, to celebrate a beautiful day from Saturday that people benefited from. And yet somebody out there is trying to take us down. Why? Because they're jealous, you know, and jealousy is something that Slavka and I talked about behind the scenes. And, you know, this all just is not being in right relationship, right? And recognizing when you're around people who are pulling you down, clinging to you, who are jealous of you. It's like you can't breathe or be yourself because why? Because they can't handle it. Like that's not right, you know. Hi, Slavka. I don't know if you caught any of that, but I think somebody's messing with us right now. So just to reiterate, before Slavka presented on Saturday, she was experiencing stress trying to get the presentation together because it pushed her to face those shadows. And then Slavka and I, we met behind the scenes. I was the assistant. Slavka did the talking, I did the writing and organizing. And then I gave all the notes to Slavka. And then after the presentation, or during Slavka's presentation, she almost got emotional multiple times, was able to persevere and stay focused. And then after the presentation, it was like this huge relief, like a weight had been lifted. And now Slavka is feeling phenomenal. Is Slavka's life perfect? No. But is it better because of this story medicine? Yes. Yes, you know, and Julia Ankerhaven experienced the same thing. All of the presenters did. It's just the significance kind of varies, right? But you look lighter, right? You look like healthier and like not that you didn't look healthy before, but you seem healthier and lighter. And I don't really know what other words to use here. Um, do you physically feel lighter? You do feel
yeah,
lighter? Oh, okay.
yes, and I'm very grateful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Slavka, is there anything that you want to say before you freeze again? I don't know if she heard me. Um, Slavka, when you got your gemstone reading from me, what was that like? Tell people what it was like to experience one of my
Mhm.
gemstone readings. Oh, can you hear me?
Mhm.
Okay.
You asked about the gemstone reading.
Yes. Tell everybody what it was like to get a gemstone reading from me.
Yeah, if you can repeat the question, because I know you asked about the gemstone reading.
Yeah. So, the gemstone reading that I provided for you, tell the Dragon Dreamers what it was like to get a gemstone reading. Did you think it was
It's
cool? Was it kind of scary? Was it weird?
it is very neat and it was very accurate. reading. So I recommend everyone to get the gemstone reading from you, if you're available for these readings. But I love it.
Yeah, and the accuracy of the gemstone reading, I have no idea unless the people tell me, right? And so it's always very powerful when people like Slavka are honest and they say, yes, that's exactly what's going on. Or especially when it's sensitive stuff, or if it's like, some people, they get a gemstone reading from me and they're prepared for me to tell them all this stuff about money and their love life. And it's not like that at all. It's usually like talking about your blind spots, your physical, mental health. And sometimes people don't like to hear what the gemstones are reporting, So, yeah. So you host a show and you like to interview people and pull oracle cards. So you also really enjoy what is it called there? The ruins, like the Swahilo. And what's your favorite resource, your favorite oracle to use? Do you prefer the tarot, the oracle, or the ruins?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah.
So on your show, Slavka, you do oracle readings and you do tarot and you have ruins. What is your favorite to use? What's your favorite?
Mm, I don't have a favorite really, because I like to use especially oracle cards, especially but I also like runes actually. So oracle cards are mostly empowering and inspiring, some messages from heart, positive messages. So yeah. I think you're muted.
Positive messages from the heart,
Yeah.
that's where we connect because I'm all about the heart. You're about the heart space. And messages from the heart, people are often like, that's boring, talking about feelings. But really, those messages from the heart, you don't hear them enough or at all. And there's a lot of messages people wait their whole entire lifetimes to hear. But what's interesting is receiving those messages often can make somebody sad because they realize that they haven't been hearing this their whole lives. They start to recognize, like, oh my gosh, I'm, in my 30s, 40s, 50s, and I'm only hearing this kind of stuff for the first time. And then they start thinking back to their early adult years and childhood and teenager years. And they think this is where I went wrong because nobody talked to me about being in right relationship. Nobody talked to me about
Yeah.
eagle condor medicine. And so I like the oracle too because I feel like there's more room. And Slavka's going to basis. Let me type this in the chat here. Tell us about bases. It's this weekend. So for those of you tuning in, Slavka and I are having tech issues, but we're not going to let that stop us. Tell us about bases, Slavka, or bases.
Yeah, Basis TV conference.
Bases TV, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So,
gonna be. So, yeah, that's another conference that I'm going. It's I is this weekend, and I hope to be there just a guest. And let's see. I would love to just to meet the amazing people. So yeah, I'm going there just as a visitor, as a to meet first of all. Mm, Possibly, um, I don't know, but yeah, thank you very much.
you and Julia Anchorhaven could be backup presenters because both of you literally just presented. So it's all fresh in your head. And your presentations are maximum 35 minutes. So if somebody needed to sneak you in, they could have both of you back to back or just one of you, and both of you could easily transform your presentations into longer ones, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
I
have
look
you
forward to hear. Yeah, actually, I cheer for Julia to hear her story again.
Yeah, I think Julia is a backup speaker, but I think now she's going to be speaking. I have a hard time keeping track, but either way, the good news for Julia is she has a 35-minute presentation ready to rock and roll, you know? So even on the lunch break or something, if people wanted to gather around to share story medicine at the Basis conference, hey, you know what? You've got that going for you. Have you and Julia Anchorhaven met in person? Will this be your first
Not
time?
yet. It's gonna be our first time.
Oh, I'm jealous. I want to go there. I want to go to Basis. I want to go to all the conferences. That's my problem. Um, wow. Have you met anybody else from Basis, or is this going to be your first time
Mm,
meeting everybody?
yeah.
Well, hopefully, you know what, you can all plan together to grab dinner together and go visit some of the sacred monuments and sites and get some group pictures done. That's going to be really powerful. And
Mm-hmm.
then sounds like Julia is going to be doing interviews on the side. So you'll probably do interviews as well for the Natural Sentient podcast. So that'll be really exciting because you'll be there as a guest, but it'll default you to connecting with the presenters too. And then you already know some of the people like Julia Anchorhaven. So that's going to be really awesome. Well, you're frozen again, Slavka. I wonder if I'm
Yeah,
freezing. Oh, you're unfrozen.
I would love you to be there, Gina.
Yeah.
That would be really great to have you there.
Yeah, if Mile needs help with administration or something, maybe I could get my foot in the door that way or something. I don't know. Oh, we just lost Slavka completely now. But those of you who are tuning in or catching the replay, somebody's messing with us. Um, every time Slavka gets frozen, I start talking to fill in the space, but then she gets unfrozen. And then when I stop, there she is again. Anyways. Here she is. Hi, Slavka. Somebody's messing with us. So thank you for being patient and having the willingness to keep coming back, keep coming back. Appreciate it.
I'm very sorry. Thank you, Gina, for holding the space.
It's not your fault. I'm waiting for Slavka to say, forget this crap. We're not going to forget this crap, you know? But, you know, I wanted to host an in-person conference in July. This would be the first one, but, you know, I'm looking for housing. I still haven't found housing yet. So I don't think it's realistic that I'm going to be hosting one this summer, but next summer for sure. You know, maybe it was a bit too ambitious, but I didn't want to be afraid to dream. That's for sure, you know. So if anybody tuning in is from Canada, let me know. Yeah, fingers crossed, because it would be really cool to have a conference in July in Canada and get people internationally over here to hang out. And that would be really awesome. I met Miles at the Full Disclosure Now conference. I don't know if he would remember me, but I remember I was sitting at a circle table.
Yeah,
and he came.
That's amazing. Wish you could come to join us.
I know, right? I wish I could come too. So
yeah, please.
Yeah, I just need somebody to pay my airfare and hotel and food. And hey, I got the time right now to go, but if anybody out there has air miles, send them my way, okay? So
yeah,
wow,
but hope to see you.
Yeah,
hope to meet you soon.
Yes, yeah.
I look forward to that.
Yeah. You know, like hopefully next summer, 2027. 2027. I hope that we can meet each other. That'd be really great. Yeah.
We hold the space for each other. Yeah, there is always perfect timing.
Yes. 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 And you know, I feel like it's nice to talk online, but when you meet in person, it really escalates the connection, I feel. And so it'll be really nice. I met a bunch of people last year in the summertime, and some of those people I see online, but it's hard to connect, right? And so really it's only through my show. This is like my social life, my show. This is really, you know, so. Okay, well, any final thoughts, Slavka? Maybe this is a good time to end today's show. I feel like you're starting to get frozen again there, but any final thoughts?
Well, thank you very much for all the support, for all the...
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much for putting the link. And yeah, I just encourage you to do the healing journey.
Yes.
To peel all those layers. Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of layers in everything, but I know that when we do this healing, it's actually then it's like that feeling, that it's so it's the journey to find the way back home to ourselves.
Yes, that's a great way to end today's show. And also looking in, we're always looking for an answer outside of ourselves when really the answer is always in.
Look inside.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it sounds like a cliche, like, don't tell me to look inside, you know, but really that's, you know, all these things that people laugh at. This is the real truth in healing today, through the power of feelings and emotions. So, okay, I'm going to remove you from the stage, Slavka. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have an amazing time at the Basis Conference. Give Julia Anchorhaven a big hug for me.
Thank you.
And I'll tell her to give you a big hug for me too. So have a safe trip. And I look forward to catching up with you next time. That was Slavka, the Natural Sentient. Let me just show you her information here again. There you can see on the bottom, you can catch Slavka on YouTube. She also hosts a show. So if you've got information to share, or if you're into things like tarot, oracle, ruins, definitely reach out to Slavka. She'd love to have you. Keep me in mind too, okay? I'm always looking for somebody. And if you're interested in the conference that Slavka presented, you can catch the replay on my Buy Me a Coffee. Slavka did a phenomenal presentation. It was rooted in learning self-love through the wisdom of wombs. So really transforming trauma into treasures, recognizing patterns of self-sabotage and, you know, the soul shrinking. And we do that. We shrink and we don't grow, right? So we always want to stay growing. And of course, Slavka had a special message. You're both a masterpiece and a work in progress. Trust your journey. Trust your inner wisdom. And my Buy Me a Coffee, it's here. So you can get the Summer Daze replay only for $10 Canadian on my Buy Me a Coffee. And you can enjoy the full presentation, not only Slavka, but all of the presenters, all the dragon speakers that we had. And on my YouTube, you can catch all the hype. Comments are starting to flood in now. And we had a really phenomenal time. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining me today on Story Species, Story Medicine. And if you're interested in presenting at the conference, reach out to yours truly, Gina Virginia Casella. Tomorrow, I'm going live on YouTube, and I'm going to start promoting the next conference, which is going to be, I got to look at my cheat sheet here. It's in September 19th, Falling Consciously. And then we've got December 12th, Season of Dreams. And I even have the 2027 dates listed. March 6th, 2027, Promise of Spring. June 5th, 2027, Summer Daze. And I'm really looking forward to it. The July in-person 2027, that's going to be July 3rd, hopefully. And then Falling Consciously 2027, September 25th, and Season of Dreams, December 18th. So if I information overloaded you, don't worry about it. That information is going to be coming out. And it would be really great to start plugging speakers in, because ideally those speakers come on this show before the conference, or, you know, shortly after, sometime in there. So again, thank you so much, everybody. Gina Virginia Casella here. Thank you for supporting me and the Dragon Dreams Soul Tribe Collective. We're your soul tribe. We get you. You're not alone. We're a story species. Stories is one of our best medicines, and we really do heal with the earth, with each other. Walking, talking trees we are. Okay, walking, talking trees and beaver dams, filters that we are, tillers of the earth. I'll see you next time. Take care. Keep dreaming.